myself and my counterparts, Heather Poire, she's on the screen here. Heather, you want to wave at everyone? Sure. We work with our independent garden center customers to help them with programs and marketing materials and tools to really leverage the Proven Winners brand. And we're really excited. We really love working with independent garden centers. And we've been doing these webinars, and the concept and idea behind them was really to provide you as a business owner, as a garden center manager, with more tools for your toolbox, right? We know that we're not quite yet in the spring season, and we're looking at ways to help you to drive more customers to your business. So just a few things before we dig into the webinar, a couple housekeeping items for you. Everyone is in listen only mode. And that said, we absolutely love your interaction. So there's a couple ways that you can communicate with us. The first is via the chat button at the bottom of your screen. Dayna's got the cursor over that. Or you can type your questions into the Q&A function on the screen as well. We'll be capturing questions as we go through. Jim from Garden Design will be on the chat. So if you have specific questions, he can respond to those as we go. But I am just so thrilled, honestly, to have Dayna Springfield here with us today. Dayna is from Garden Design. She is amazing. So she is the social media coordinator at Garden Design. She manages four platforms for Garden Design with over 900,000 subscribers on those platforms. So she is interacting with consumers via social media each and every day. And one of the things that she does exceptionally well is she helps to connect those consumers with businesses looking for products. And so Dayna's going to share a number of quick tips and tools, specifically in the realm of Google. And so I'm going to turn it over to Dayna today. And again, thank you all for joining us. Dayna?
Hey there. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Proven Winners. Hi to Heather. Just so excited to be here with you today. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Google, but this is what we want to see, what's here on the screen. This is what I call a yay moment. As you can see, Homestead Gardens, they're listed #1 up at the top when searching for nurseries in Davidsonville. And it has their reviews. And this is what we're going to help you with today so that you can start ranking higher, getting more customers. As we know, Google is very essential to business. And so let's start getting into it. My name's Dayna, and I've been doing social media here at Garden Design for over 8 years. And it's so fun. It's always changing. As you know, everything's always changing. So I hope today these tips will help you. My background is in radio, and it's in customer service, a lot of behind the scenes things. So I know it's really important when you interact with customers and helping your business. So what we're going to be covering today is helping local customers find you. And what's great about Google is that there's actually no cost. So when you're using Google Business Profile, it's free, except for your time, of course, which I know is very valuable. You may recognize Google My Business. That was the term used for a long time. It just recently changed to Google Business Profile. So you might find me keep saying Google My Business. So just forgive me for that. But you can call it Google Business Profile. So here are the main things that we're going to be talking about today. And, you know, if I do my job, you're going to be walking away knowing these terms and feeling confident in driving more people to your business. We're going to be talking about keywords, photos, how posting consistently is really important. Plus, I have a lot of great ideas if you're just lost as to what you should be posting about. And also a reminder to talk about the cities that are around you, not just the city that your garden center is in, but also, 5 to 15, 20 miles away. People in those areas, they're looking for nurseries as well. So let's not forget about them. So here's just a brief overview of what we're talking about. If you haven't set up a Google profile account yet, that's no problem. I've given Jessica a quick PDF tutorial, so you can ask her for that. And that gives you all the steps of how to contact Google, how to get verified, and get your company up and running. So we're definitely going to talk about how to optimize your profile. It's really important to say what you do and do what you say. Make sure that everything's truthful and accurate, up to date. That's very important. And we're also going to give you some posting hacks to save you some time, and also talk about reviews. Those are very important, as we all know, and they show up like we saw on the first slide of what your reviews are. So we're going to cover all of that for you today. And then you'll also get a copy of this PDF so you can refer back to it as well. So keywords, this is a term that's used a lot, and I want to just it doesn't need to seem scary. It's just words that you already know. So it's plant names, either generic plants like roses or shrubs or hydrangeas, or specific plant names like the incredible hydrangea. You know a lot of these terms already. So all these big words like keywords, it's just what you know. So timely words like garden planning, that's a big one. Planting, the seasons, words that are related to gardening itself, as simple as it seems. When you put those into your Google profile, those are going to help Google learn that, oh, hey, they're always talking about plants. They're always talking about annuals or perennials. So that helps them learn really what the type of business you are. And then, of course, you always want to mention proven winners whenever possible. Brand recognition is important. A customer may know, like, oh, yeah, I want to find the new Oh So Easy roses from proven winners. So they might put that in. So this is going to help you be seen and more relevant. Area related words. I'm here in Southern California. The area I'm in is often referred to as the Inland Empire, and that's a group of 20 cities. So if Google sees Inland Empire, they're going to know, oh, they must be within this 50-mile radius of cities. And then also things you sell. So make sure to add in if you're selling tools, planters, decor, that type of thing. Just keep it in your head that you should always be letting people know things that you already know, but your potential customers out there don't know. Now, it's very important to customize your profile. It's the good old classic who, what, where, when, and why. And you'll see here that I have the red asterisks next to photos. That is kind of, if you're zoning out, that's okay. But these are kind of the key takeaways. And what's great about optimizing your profile is you can quickly go in, update your hours, which is important with weather changes. Maybe you're closed because there's a storm, or with COVID, maybe you're having to close down for a couple days. So within your profile, you can quickly and easily update your hours. So customers who are looking, we all know everyone's looking on their phones and trying to find, what's closest to them at the moment. You can easily do that. And then, so just always make sure that you're adding photos. It's great to have the front of your garden center so people can visually see that they're arriving at the right place, or maybe they've driven past it a time or two before, and so they'll start to recognize the company. And then also share pictures of things that you sell. And it's always great to show your employees or happy customers, kind of put that personalized touch into your business. So here is just kind of where I was talking about to keep your customers up to date. When you're logged in, you'll always see this getting started up at the top. And this is just where you can click through and create posts, keep everything up to date. Also, once you're logged in, you've probably seen this if you do have an account. On the left side of the screen is where the easy to use toolbar is. And this is where you can update things about your profile, create a post, look at all your business information. I would suggest to go in there at least every 6 months to make sure that all the information is accurate and correct if things haven't changed in a while. And just go into the details of your profile. You can look at the views, you can reviews, you can add more photos, look at your photos. Everything here is on the toolbar within the profile manager. So here is just some best practices when using your Google Business Profile. Of course, make sure to spell check everything. And if you haven't been asking customers this yet, asking them to go and share a review, especially if, say, you just had a conversation with the customer. I like, as a customer myself, to let employees know or ask for a manager in a good way and just say, hey, I came here looking for this. Thank you so much. So when you're having these conversations, ask them, hey, would you mind going and giving us a review on Google? That would really help us. I know, as a customer, consumer myself, I love to help companies that I love. So it's really can seem scary to ask a customer, but if you're already interacting with them, ask them. We talked about this to include city names and keywords, and also posting consistently. We want to show Google that you're consistently there, that the lights are on, someone's home. So don't make it a habit to say, oh, I have time right now, I'm going to post all these pictures from the last 3 months. What's better is if you plan it out, post once a week as a minimum, I would say, is a good place to start. Don't post a whole bunch of photos at one time. Spread it out so then Google gets the idea that you're there, you're consistent, and you're not just ghosting for weeks or months at a time. An easy idea you can do is create a posting schedule. I was thinking Tuesday morning, if you want to start there. That's pretty much after the craziness of the weekend's over. I myself use Google Sheets because I can access it from anywhere on my phone or on my desktop, or my friend's phone or my friend's desktop if I just get an idea or want to check something. That's a free tool you can use. And then it's kind of just there. And once you're thinking of ideas, you can just not worry like what's coming up. You have it all planned out. So if you haven't created a what's new post, this is just a visualization of the steps to do. Google is pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward to just follow the instructions. What's highlighted here is just the steps to do. And it's very important to do a call to action. If you have a website, it's, I think, best practice, always put it there. Why not help the customer find you directly to your website? If you don't have a website, but you do use, say, Facebook all the time or Instagram, that's okay to link there as well. Or if, say, you're having a special, you can select these buttons. If you have a website that's optimized to buy things directly, you can use this buy button. Or learn more is kind of just an easy one to always use as a default. But I think it's a very good practice to always have a call to action button. So now here's some tips for creating a what's new post. You always want to include a relevant photo. So if you're talking about roses, make sure the picture's of a rose. And then putting in keywords that we talked about with your business. Also adding the city name, the linked call to action, and keeping the text, I would say, within 50 to 400 characters is good practice. You don't always want a huge novel, but you don't always want just quick 10 words. So I would mix it up. This example here is showing the first 65 to 70 characters. And then also just keep in mind that when you're logged in, as you can see here on the manager, it looks slightly different than what your customers are going to see. So just from time to time, you can log in a different account and just see what it looks like as a consumer, just so you don't get stuck in the habit of, well, everything I see, the customer sees. That's not exactly true all the time. So here where it says learn more, that is the linked call to action. So if this was an actual the actual post, if I click there, it would go directly to their website. And then the keywords we talked about before, if it happens naturally, front loading them into the front where people can see the first few words, that would be ideal. So on this example, concrete is a very big term that we're using here. And then the brand product, Classic Texture, is also front loaded. So if someone was looking for that specifically, they would see that. Now here is where I'm very jealous of everyone that works at a garden center. Ideas are all around you. You have plants right outside your door. So you know what's blooming. I left a lot of space on the slide. So if you wanted to print this out, and you can add ideas as you think of them. And also talk to your staff. They might have, you know, a conversation they recently had over the weekends and talking about pruning. The sky is the limit with plants, which is great because we always know what's going to be blooming. We know maybe what's going to be planted soon, sales and specials, even holiday things. A great go-to are pollinator favorites. People are always looking to make the bees happy. So just think about the different things. Maybe you just got some plants in stock that you're excited for. The ideas can be endless. And then what's great too is you can recycle these ideas. So things you use this spring, guess what? You can use them next spring as well. So not everyone's seen every single post, and it's okay to reuse ideas and talk about everything that's happening in the garden. A great combo, that's always popular. I know garden centers get asked a lot of questions from customers. So anytime you get a question, just jot that down real quick. Or if you're tired of maybe answering the same questions over and over again, use that as a post and try and educate your customers and just put it out there, information. Everyone's looking to learn and be a better gardener. So here are some ideas, some hacks for posting. I would say if you just spent 1 hour every month putting together your ideas and a schedule of what you're going to be posting, that's going to save you a lot of time. Just remember to post each week, not just all at once like we talked about. Consistency is key. So just setting things up for success will help you in the long run. And then, like I said, you can use Google Sheets or Excel. Even a handwritten calendar, that works. I'm guilty of doing that sometimes too. So it's just whatever works easier for your situation. And, you know, it's okay if you post like spare of the moment. Maybe something just started blooming. Like I know a lot of botanical gardens, if their corpse flower is blooming, that might not be on their schedule, but you know they're going to be posting about it. And then, you know, influencers are crazy. So if you, crazy in a good way. So if you if you build it, they will come. So maybe create a enticing space that influencers might like to come and take a picture. And then I'm sure they'll want to be buying plants. I follow a cat that lives at a bookstore in Kauai, and they've created that space. So, you know, when I was there a couple of years ago, I went out of my way 35 minutes to go see this cat and this great space that they created. And then, you know, I bought books and I shared it on social media and I added it to my Google review for them. So just find something that's unique to your garden center and something that, you know, might just be different or invite more people that may not come, but then they'll want to buy from you. So you can save photos. If you have an iPhone, you can create a photo album, save pictures there so you can easily get to them. And then, like I said, it's okay if you use similar photos or reuse them if, of course, they're spread out. And then mentioning cities, this tells Google that you're alive in that area. And just, I wouldn't do like the same 5 cities all the time. Spread it out. You can use that on your calendar, maybe write down the, you know, 3 or 5 cities you mentioned in each post so that you're spreading out the wealth and then circling back to other cities as well. Now, creating a Google review link, that is very important if you haven't done that already, or if you want to just simply help customers more easily go make a review for you. As you can see, this review has a red asterisk because this is very important. There is this website here where you can create a link generator. And then just recently I saw Google within the profile manager. You can create one yourself within Google, which is very helpful. I don't know if that's just a beta testing thing or if it's going to go away, but ideally it will stay there. So you can just click on that link when you're logged in and create your own review link. And when you do that, when you click it, a box comes up just like here for Hagen Ace. That's what customers will see. You can take it a step further and shorten that link. I use Bitly in this case. This link you can add to your receipts, your emails, your texts, just help your customers get access to it a little bit easier. Not everybody's super savvy where they could figure out to go to Google, find your business, and then do a review. So this just is an easier option for your customers to give them. And keep in mind that reviews with photos, that's really golden. That's what Google is looking for. So anytime you can suggest that to your customers to do a review and add a photo, that can be highly encouraged. That's why if you create a space or just maybe if you see customers are having fun looking at plants, maybe offer to take a picture of them for them so then they can share that later. So here is just putting all of these ideas together. This is my dog, Wesley, and he loves going with me everywhere. So this puts together all of the ideas we talked about. It has the city that we were in. We have the product name. It's only 50 words, which isn't too bad. It talks about proven winners, of course. And then it also has other relevant words like plants, the zone, balcony garden. And as a dog mom, I'm always looking to see if places are dog friendly. So adding in that sentence, we're dog friendly, I think would be beneficial if you are. So this is kind of how you put everything all together that you were looking for. And just remember, the more you do, the better you'll become at putting all of these things together. And all of these are keywords, but they're just words that you know. So putting together keywords, the location, the products that you're selling, and, you know, a cute picture, of course. But just don't worry about, you don't have to be a professional photographer. Just snapping any pictures around the garden is fine. Let the flowers do the work for you, right? So hopefully today, you know, if I did my job, you have learned what keywords means. You know that photos are important. It's very important to be consistent in your posting and mentioning the cities. Plus, all you need to do is look outside. Ideas are all around you. And thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope you the best success.
That is awesome, Dayna. You packed a ton of information in a really short period of time. So I've got a whole bunch of questions for you. Before we get going, though, certainly feel free to type. If other folks have questions, feel free to type those in the chat or the Q&A function. So Dayna, when you were talking about cities, you were saying how we should incorporate more than just, you know, if I live in Grand Rapids, I shouldn't just be talking about Grand Rapids. I should be talking about cities near me. How far away? Because, you know, we've got some garden centers that are in really large metropolitan areas and then some that are in rural areas. So what radius would you recommend?
Yeah, so I would recommend, especially because you're going to know your area better. So for example, here, I'm in Calimesa, California right now. But we drive far to go places. So I can do probably 30 miles, especially if you have like a unique plant that you know people are looking for. I know a lot of people are into succulents or into herb gardening. So for example, here, there's a city like right on the other side of the street that's called Yucaipa. So I would definitely always include that. And then maybe if you know that there's a festival in the area and so people are going to be driving through, you can include cities like that so you can start populating. I think it's okay as long as, you're not posting something like 150 miles away. I think if it makes sense for your area, especially if you're rural, that people drive distances to get the plants that they want. So for here, for example, there's Loma Linda, Redlands, San Bernardino, Highlands, Beaumont, Banning, and we have cities like north, east, south, and west of us. So what I like to do is maybe pick one from each direction and then start expanding out. So then people can say, okay, well, Redlands is right by me. It's not my city specifically, but if they're doing this city and then the city to the northeast of me, obviously this fits into my realm. So I don't think there's a wrong answer. I just wouldn't do something like way like out of base.
Right. No, that makes total sense. So when we start talking about posting, I have a couple, kind of a two-part question. So first, for folks that aren't as familiar with Google and opportunities there, can you edit or delete a post, right? Everyone panics about, I had a typo or I need to change something. I'm assuming that can be done, correct?
Yes. It's very easy because I've done it myself a lot of times where I'm like, oh no, this is wrong, or what did I do? So when you're within the manager, you'll see the post. It will be on the right-hand side. There's 3 like little dash buttons. And if you click there, you can easily edit the post. It will bring it up like you just did it. And there you can edit the text and everything, or you could delete it and start over. So don't panic. It will be okay.
Yeah. And I think it takes a little bit to learn, but it's really, this tool is much like what you're thinking about with your social media platforms, that it really needs to be a part of your mix. So with a little bit of time, I love that you said, just 1 hour a month, to plan this and to do that and to post is well worth the time and effort. So question for you from a couple customers. First, what is the ideal amount of times to post? That's the first part of the question. And the second part would be, what happens if you're closed for a few months? Do you continue to post like you would on social media, just so your customers are still seeing your profile? What would you recommend there, Dayna?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would, if you're closed for a couple of months, say for winter, I would make sure your hours reflect that. So it's very clear that yes, you are closed, but yes, you can still continue to post. And maybe even put in there, can't wait to open, March 30th or March 10th or whatever. So then people will pick up on, okay, they're closed, but they're excited. They're talking about these plants. It's keeping Google in the loop that yes, you're still alive, you're still there, but make sure to be very clear with your customers that you're not open. So I think it's totally fine to keep posting. You can also reuse things. So say you posted something on Instagram, it's okay to put that on Google as well. So you're not going back to the well multiple times and thinking, oh gosh, I have to like recreate every post for every platform. I simply reword something, move things around a little bit. That's completely fine to do. Posting to create a post time-wise, I think really the more you start doing it, it will come quicker and more natural to you. I'm guilty of overthinking things sometimes where it could just be quick and easy and to the point, and that's fine. Or if you want to kind of take some time, tell a story, maybe you had a great conversation, maybe someone came in, they're helping, their mom redo their backyard. So you can tell a story too sometimes, just to kind of give it that more personalized touch.
Yeah, I like that because, it's all about connecting with the customer, right? Just much like social media. And so I think those things play really well.
It can seem like you're talking at people and just showing them and that's it. But no, make it into a conversation, make it more warm and welcoming so that it doesn't seem like you're just a business doing something. You're not just a business, you're maybe family owned, maybe you're a group of friends. Your staff, let people get to know your staff. So another posting idea is maybe like highlighting a staff member every month. So then, like the third Tuesday of every month, we're going to highlight a staff member that's easy to do. Snap a quick picture of them out, maybe at their favorite plant that's blooming at the moment. So just kind of make it seem more like we're not just some big business, we're gardeners too, right?
Yeah. Trudy had a great question. She typed in the chat about, we talked a little bit about posting obviously while you're closed, but, for some of us, I'm looking at my window right now, Dayna, I know you have nice, warm, sunny weather, but it is cold and snowy here. So what are some great ideas that you might have for posting in January or February,
right,
just to get people excited about what's coming?
Yeah, so you can always do like the classic, like Throwback Thursday or Can't Wait for This or Dreaming of Summer. But garden planning is very important. People are inside. They might have their garden journal out, reflecting from last year, maybe getting ideas for things that they haven't had time to do yet. So yeah, dreaming, planning, those are always great topics to cover. And also just like remember when or can't wait until this. Just kind of what you're feeling yourself personally, you can project that of like, oh man, I can't wait until my daisies come out, or I'm planning on this garden, the layout, just design aspects, anything like that. Sell the dream.
Yeah. I've even seen some garden centers that have done some great work with talking to their vendor, right? Like, here are all the little plant babies. Here's what's happening. They're coming to you soon, just
right.
to get people excited and interested, and ready to garden. We had a question from Perry, and it's a little bit deeper question for you, Dayna. And he was asking about the location of posts, and they appear in different places on Google search once they're posted, whether they're product or what's new. And the question was really, are there some that are better viewed than others when you start thinking about keywords and how and what you're posting? What's your thought there?
Yeah, so Google, they like to move things around a lot. And even within the same day, looking for like putting this presentation together, 1 minute it was over here, the other it was over here. But if you want to be up at the top, that's why you need to be telling Google that your lights are on, there's people there. So it just really varies. But when you have the good reviews and you're consistent, that's going to help you be placed up at the top, no matter where they're placing you. And it also does depend too on your area that you're in. If we're in Los Angeles, there's a lot of different ads and different things going on, where maybe if you're in a much smaller area, there could be just not as many paid ads. So it just really depends on, to me, what Google's doing that day. But that's why just being consistent, you're going to be doing yourselves the biggest favors for what they're deciding to do that day.
Okay. And Nancy was asking, just, how do people see your posts? Is it solely when they're searching on Google, or is it more like Facebook and it's something that they log into? She was just questioning, where do those ads occur and where do consumers see them?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when someone just goes to Google, types in like what we had for the example as a nursery, and then the city name, which was helpful, that's when it's going to come up. And even if when someone doesn't do a city name in their search, since Google knows where you are and has seen that you've been adding those cities, they're going to know where you are without someone putting that term into search. So say I just put in plant nursery, I didn't put in plant nursery Redlands, it's going to know that my nursery is in Redlands just based on all of my background history, even though the searcher didn't put in all those exact terms.
Okay, that's great. And this is a question, actually, Tom asked this question, and I was wondering the same thing. I know you mentioned that you can recycle content, right, from your social media platforms to Google. And Tom was asking, I post weekly on Facebook and Instagram. Is it good to post the same content all the time on Google, or, should you be mixing that up a little bit?
Right. Yeah. So I would really try and mix it up. That's why having like some type of calendar or Google sheet of what you posted when would be really helpful, just so that you don't get in the habit of like all you're posting about is roses. And maybe, yes, it's an important time for pruning roses or planting roses, but just mix it up, because if someone isn't into roses, you may have lost them, because then they're going to think you're only specialized and only sell roses. So I would really try and, like, especially since you have so many different plants, recycle through them, but maybe make a list if that's easier for you. And you can write in the date of, okay, you have like 10 plants on the left side, and then write down every date that you did that, just so you can rotate through and not be back to back to back posting the same thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. So question for you, Dayna, on video. I know we talked a lot about, taking photos. Simple iPhone photos will work, but could you hypothetically put video on that as well?
Yep. Great question. So yes, you can do 30 seconds of video. So mix it up. You can definitely do that if you feel comfortable. I would just make sure, there's not, bad words in the background, or just make sure that the audio, because sometimes it's easy to forget that you're just visually looking at things. And then, but what you can do is talk over the video too. Not everyone has their speakers on, but if you're going through the garden, oh my gosh, this is the shipment we just got in. Look at all these great plants we just got. We're open until 6 p.m. tonight. Give us a call. Just add in some information that would help the customer too. But get hyped and like talk about the plants. But yeah, video, go for it.
Perfect. And thinking about your profile, this is something, would you highly recommend that just one person at the garden center really sort of takes responsibility for this, similar to what you would do with social media? Or is this something that you would say, you want a couple of people looking at that? What would you recommend there?
Yeah. So what's nice is if it's the same person, it's the same voice all the time. But I think if you do have multiple people collaborating on it, that's fine too. I would just make sure you're not posting on top of each other, that there's communication of, say, maybe I'm doing Tuesdays, Jessica's doing Fridays, so that it's clear. And then that kind of divides things up. Perhaps one of your staff members is really into taking photos, so they're in charge of taking photos, and you can put one person in charge of pictures, one person in charge of posting, really what works best for you. I am a control freak and I like doing everything myself, but I know that's not good all the time. So it is nice to get different perspectives. And then, you can just really do what works best for you. If you think dividing it up is going to help you get more coverage, that's fine to do.
Perfect. So I've got a few more questions for you, Dayna. This is great. We're getting a ton of feedback. So Nancy had sort of a secondary follow-up question. So she said, when someone searches for a garden center, let's say as an example, do they see the posts that come up under that search, or do they only see your garden center post when they click on your actual name? So, if they were to just say, I'm in Redlands, I'm looking for a garden center, a list of garden center names come up, they would have to click on that specific garden center name to see the post, correct?
Well, on Google, I can go back to the slide. There, like the example we showed of the two slides side by side of what you see within Manager and what you see as, like, let's call it the consumer. There's like a little arrow, so you could click that and it will go through like a slide of the previous posts, so you can go through and see more.
Okay.
From Google itself.
Perfect. So I think what a lot of people are wondering, we're strapped for time, right? Garden centers especially, and we know a lot of you on the call here are wearing a lot of different hats. So, when we talk about doing this, right, the garden center's listing, what kind of, if we're going to put time into something, what is the ROI, Dayna? And we believe that this is obviously worth the time and effort, but is it a 10 time, number of referral? Is it, is there a metric of sorts that you could share, that what a garden center could expect if they put the time and effort into something like this?
Yeah. So what's going to be the most, I think, beneficial is, for one, you're getting new customers that have never even walked in your door. And then the word of mouth factor, which I think is huge. So if they had a great experience, that's going to really help. And then it's also just putting it out there that you're open, what you're selling, and giving ideas. So people are going to see your account first, especially if you're doing all these things we've talked about. So you're going to come up instead of being down the list, not even showing up. So you're not going to be missing out on all these potential customers.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great. I think as we think about February, and we think about the slow months, going back to sort of Trudy's question, I think the winter is a great time to really plan for the next year, right? Maybe it's just big topics. And then to your point, Dayna, as product is coming in, fresh product, other ideas, those can be peppered in, but sort of creating that framework for the whole year would make a lot of sense.
Yes, because I know, April, May, June, you're not going to want to be planning things out at all. So take the time now, put down your thoughts. It's a fluid thing. You can always adjust. And guess what? It's never really wrong. Like, people just want to see what you're doing. The more time you spend on it, you're going to do great. I have so much confidence in all of you.
Yeah, great. I think we've gone through all of the questions, just quickly going through the chat and the Q&A really quickly here to make sure that we've gotten everything. I know there were a few questions about getting this information after the fact. So the webinar is being recorded. We will have that for you all early next week. Dayna has been really gracious with her time to provide a PDF. So if you don't have a Google account set up, we can walk you through that. And also, Dayna and Jim from Garden Design have been extremely generous with their time. I know we had a few questions from a couple of folks that we'll follow up with after the webinar. They're a little more detailed, but certainly, Dayna, I think you would highly, highly recommend that garden centers take advantage of this as a way to really drive new business.
Yes, especially, I know your time is valuable, but it's a free tool and it helps customers find you. So it seems like a big win-win, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Dayna, I think that does it for our questions. I sincerely want to thank you for your time today. You provided a ton of great information, and we're just excited that you were able to join us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So a few other things from the Proven Winners brand perspective. Garden Design is a great partner of ours. They work with us very closely, and we have a program that we call Connect Plus. And this is a marketing service that we offer to our independent garden center customers exclusively. And so one of the things that we offer within Connect Plus is actually a listing on Garden Design. And Jim and Dayna were just sharing with me before we started the webinar that they get 15 million consumers to their website. And so it's a great tool. If you haven't checked out Garden Design, we'd certainly highly recommend that you do that. But really, as I mentioned, Connect Plus is this marketing service. We know that you're wearing a lot of hats. We know that there are a lot of things that are going on. And so one of the things that we were looking at as a brand is how do we help you to leverage the power of Proven Winners and all of the different things that we're doing? And how do we help to expand your visibility and more than that, drive customers to your business? We know that there are 18 million new gardeners. We as a brand really want to push them to the local independent garden center as the source for Proven Winners. And so Connect Plus offers a ton of different marketing supports. We have free plans, we have pay for plans. And those include things like, boosted Facebook campaigns, Pandora, a garden design listing, and much more. We won't delve into that today, but if you're interested in learning more about Connect Plus and interested in learning more about how to utilize some of the tools that Dayna talked about today, there's a URL at the bottom of the screen here, or feel free to email myself or Heather. It's jessica@provenwinners.com or heather@provenwinners.com, and we'd be more than happy to walk through the program with you. With that, we just want to sincerely thank you all for your time today. Thank you, Dayna and Jim, for all the information, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.